One day, a red star seemed to crash down in the forest. Turns out it wasn't a star at all. It was some weird alien creature that swallowed a deer in the blink of an eye. Unfortunately, Harry and Ruth were hiking in that same forest. Ruth was freaked out inside since it was her first time in a forest. Harry, though, had been there tons of times before. Then Ruth got this feeling that someone was following them. She turned around, but all she could hear was the rustling of leaves in the distance. They found a quiet spot, set up camp, cooked some food, ate, and had a blast. Late at night, Ruth had to pee, so she stepped out of the tent. Suddenly, something darted past her. It was just a deer, and she got scared for no reason. The next morning, Harry took Ruth to the edge of the forest, where the view of the ocean was killer. Right there, he popped the question, asking her to marry him. They'd been together for 5 years, and Harry was ready to tie the knot for good. Before Ruth could say anything, she had a panic attack, struggling to breathe. She got these when she was super stressed, but her meds usually brought her back to normal. Once she came to, she turned down Harry's proposal. That sparked a huge argument between them. Finally pissed off, Harry stormed off to wander the forest alone. Ruth needed to call her doctor, so she went looking for a signal. That's when she stumbled across a deer's body. Its face split right down the middle, covered in some weird chemical-like liquid. It was the same antlered deer from the start. Already on edge, Ruth got spooked when Harry snuck up behind her and scared her half to death. That night, Ruth and Harry patched things up. Ruth always felt like people changed after marriage. They'd fight, fall apart, and split up, just like her mom and dad did. She loved Harry like crazy and didn't want to lose him, no matter what. The next morning, she went a little way from camp to do her business. On the way, she spotted a cave with some blue liquid glowing inside. Scared but curious, she stepped in, and when she saw what was there, she let out a blood-curdling scream. Half an hour passed, and when she didn't come back, Harry went looking for her. Turns out she was standing in one spot, totally zoned out, not responding even when Harry yelled her name. When he asked, she said everything was fine, but her face, it didn't look fine. Late that night, Harry woke up and saw Ruth was gone. He grabbed a lantern and rushed outside, calling her name. Then he heard some rustling behind him. He turned around, and there was Ruth holding a knife, shaking like a leaf. Maybe she saw an animal or something. Anyway, they went back to camp and crashed. But Ruth stayed up all night, eyes wide open, not blinking once. Something was definitely eating at her. Next morning, out of nowhere, she changed her tune and agreed to marry Harry. But she had one condition. Harry had to propose again, and it had to be at the same spot where he first popped the question. After hours of trekking, they reached that special place by the edge of the forest. Harry got down on one knee and proposed to Ruth again. Right then, Ruth suddenly shoved him off the cliff. Harry died on the spot. The night before, she'd wanted to kill him too. What was the deal behind all this? The next moment, Ruth ran as fast as her legs could carry her, stumbling and passing out from dizziness. By some stroke of luck, another couple hiking in the woods spotted her. They rushed over, gave her water and stuff, but couldn't call for help. So they set up camp right there to look after her. They tried talking to her, but Ruth was like a deer in headlights, not answering a single question. Her eyes were glued to Matt's knife. Finally, Vivian convinced her they'd head back in the morning. Then Vivian whispered to Matt that something bad must have happened to this girl. But then, out of nowhere, Ruth quietly grabbed the knife and pointed it at them. Matt and Vivian, totally shocked, froze. But the knife wasn't for them, it was for Harry. Somehow, some way, he was back, alive. The next second, Ruth bolted, terrified. Vivian chased after her. Matt jumped in to stop things, but in a split second, Harry sliced off his hand. His finger had some crazy sharp blade hidden in it. Meanwhile, scared out of her mind, Ruth ducked into some bushes to hide. Vivian, seeing her, asked, "Why are you so freaked out? Is that guy your boyfriend?" Ruth shook her head. "No, he's not my boyfriend." Just then, Matt's voice called out, and he stumbled over to them. Vivian stepped out, saw Matt's messed up state, screamed and tried to run, but she didn't get far. One swing from Harry left her in bad shape, her body going numb. Harry started yelling, "Come out, Ruth, or I'll finish her off too." Ruth stepped out, but he still took Vivian out. Then he turned on Ruth, pressuring her. "How'd you figure out who I really am?" Ruth had pieced it together after going into that cave. Seeing Harry's body there had freaked her out so bad she started having a panic attack. In the chaos, all her pills spilled out, but she didn't notice. That's why she'd been standing there like a statue, even when Harry was screaming her name earlier. "What kind of creature are you?" she asked. The alien inside Harry spoke up. I'm a scout, sent to Earth for recon. Then it tried to kill Ruth, but something in its heart wouldn't let it. It got all confused, like, what the hell's happening to me? After racking its brain, it realized Harry's emotions had sunk into it. It was in love with Ruth, and that's why killing her hurt so bad. It had never felt anything like this before. Caught in a daze, it started questioning itself. Is this even possible? In that moment, Ruth saw her chance and bolted, but it didn't do her any good. She grabbed a stick and smashed it against the alien's jaw, but its wound healed in seconds. Bottom line, Ruth was completely helpless against it. Desperate and beat, she asked, "What do you want from me?" The alien replied, "I love you, and I want to show you something." Then it took her to the beach, where its invisible spaceship was parked. With one command, the ship appeared out of thin air. Ruth couldn't believe her eyes. This was really happening, and that wasn't all. The aliens were about to take over Earth soon. This one had already scouted the planet and sent the intel back to its homeworld. It didn't want Ruth getting hurt when the war between aliens and humans kicked off. It had a killer plan for that. It told Ruth, "We can go to some quiet planet and start fresh together." Ruth was listening, but her eyes were locked on the alien's knife. She nodded along, playing nice, and the second she got a chance, she stabbed the knife into its chest and bolted into the ocean. But this alien was hell-bent on catching her. Without thinking, it dove into the water after her. Big mistake. The smell of its blood drew a shark, which zoomed in and clamped down on it. This was Ruth's golden ticket. She scrambled out of the water and ran like her life depended on it. After a bit, it seemed like the coast was clear. But then the alien killed the shark and climbed out of the water. Meanwhile, Ruth made it back to camp, but hunger hit her hard and she started feeling dizzy. She scarfed down some food, but as she got up to leave, a seizure hit. Lucky for her, she had one tablet left. After taking it, she was okay. But right then, the alien snuck up and grabbed her from behind. It said, "I'm trying to save you, and you keep running away." Her eyes welled up with tears at its words. When talking straight didn't work, the alien went full on its own way. It linked itself to Ruth and morphed into her form. Now it could feel every good moment of her life, but it forgot that her pain came with it too. Ruth dragged the alien into the dark memories of her past, when her parents fought day and night. One day her dad had taken his own life. Feeling those gut-wrenching childhood memories, the alien started choking, like it couldn't breathe. It quickly broke away from Ruth and lunged for the nearby meds, but they were already gone. Ruth mustered up some courage and fought like hell to break free. Seeing the alien writhing in pain, she got emotional for a split second. She tried to convince it, saying she could help, but the moment its guard was down, Ruth grabbed a rock nearby and smashed it over the alien's head, over and over, turning its skull to mush. Shockingly, the alien was still alive. It started healing itself with its weird powers. Ruth didn't waste a second. She pushed through every obstacle and bolted out of the jungle. Just then, she saw countless red stars falling from the sky toward Earth. Mike and Amanda had been married for years. They loved each other like crazy. Amanda was a school teacher who poured her heart into teaching her students. Her smile and patience always inspired the kids. Mike, on the other hand, was a hard-working construction worker, sweating it out from dawn to dusk to make their dreams come true. Their little home was full of love and laughter. But there was one thing that quietly gnawed at them. They didn't have any kids. That emptiness never weakened their bond, but it left a void in their hearts. One day at the construction site, Mike heard something weird. John was checking out something on the office's old computer. Pointing at the screen, he said, "Check this out. It's an app called Dumb Dummies. People do all sorts of crazy stuff to make money. The audience sets a target, and if it's met, they pull off wild stunts." Right then, this American guy hit a $200 target and drank his own pee. Mike was stunned. Meanwhile, Amanda was teaching at school when she suddenly passed out and collapsed. They found out she had a brain hemorrhage. The doctors figured she might never wake up. Mike had only one option. A new startup called Rivermind had come up with a solution for cases like this. They'd back up the damaged brain tissue to their cloud first. Then through surgery, they'd remove the damaged tissue and replace it with synthetic receiver tissue made from the backup. It was controlled by Rivermind's system. That meant the patient could live a normal life as long as they stayed in range of Rivermind's signal. The operation was completely free, but the patient had to pay a $300 monthly subscription for the streaming. The surgery happened, and Amanda made a full recovery. It was nothing short of a miracle. Somehow 6 months passed, but paying that $300 subscription every month was a real struggle for them. One day, Mike and Amanda were out for a drive. As soon as they left the city's signal range, Amanda passed out in her seat. Mike freaked out, stopped the car, and thought she was dead. But back in signal range, she came to. They rushed to meet Gaynor, who said the company was upgrading its network. Rivermine's towers were spreading worldwide, so soon people could roam anywhere without issues. But they'd need to upgrade to Rivermine Plus, costing $800 a month. Mike and Amanda couldn't afford it. Helpless, they turned the car around and quietly headed home. But the trouble didn't stop there. Their $300 basic plan now had ads. At first, there weren't many, but soon they got so bad even the kids at school noticed. Amanda had no clue what she was saying during ads. Things got worse when her job was at risk because of it. Gaynor said the ads would stop only if they upgraded to Rivermine Plus. They were stuck. If Amanda lost her job, they couldn't even keep the basic plan. Out of desperation, Mike started a channel on Dumb Dummies. That morning, he saw some urine left in his glass and quickly cleaned it. The channel made money, and he upgraded to Rivermine Plus. The ads stopped, and Amanda's job was safe. Tonight's show had Mike set to put a mousetrap on his tongue if he hit $90, but the audience wanted it somewhere else. He went through hell for the cash. One night, things went too far. He broke his own tooth and swallowed it on the show. For a few months, this worked, but now even the Plus plan was standard. Patients lay in bed for hours, sluggish and lazy. Gaynor said to fix it, they'd need Rivermine Lux, with a $1,500 monthly fee. That plan let patients control their energy, feelings, and fun however they wanted, but it was way out of their budget. Then Gaynor suggested they get the Rivermine Lux Booster Pack. Tonight, a Dumb Dummies viewer offered $500 for Mike to take off his mask. He did it, but it was the biggest mistake of his life. The company's employees knew who he really was. Fighting wouldn't help now. They fired him. Mike kept it from Amanda since it was their anniversary. For the occasion, he got a 12-hour booster pack, and it was incredible. Amanda felt everything 10 times better, even joy. But the next morning, when the booster wore off, she crashed hard. Mike barely scraped together subscription money with his job and overtime. Losing his job meant they came up short this month. They begged Gaynor to cover this month's subscription. If ads started again, Amanda would lose her job, and her $300 income would be gone. But Gaynor was powerless, just a puppet for Rivermine. When Amanda lost her job, they were crushed. Slowly, they sold their stuff. Then came the day they couldn't afford even the basic subscription. Their lives took a turn where society shunned them. No job, no help from anyone. Amanda said, "Let me go, don't stop me." Mike let her, then ended his own life. And just like that, their beautiful love story ended.
Oh, thank God you're here.
These days, a girl named Natalie was all over the news. She jumped off a tall building a few days ago, but Maria and James didn't pay much attention to it. Somehow, though, the news was tied to them. They were crazy in love. James worked at Barney's, and Maria was at Dita Chocolate Company. Today was a big deal. Maria's new chocolate flavor was getting tested. They brought in some random folks, and Maria was stunned to see her old school friend, Verity Green, there. Her name wasn't on the list. Verity told them to double-check, and sure enough, it was there. Everyone tried the chocolate and shared their thoughts. Nobody really liked it, except Verity, who gave positive feedback. She said it tasted even better the second time. On her suggestion, the others tried again, and their opinions flipped instantly. Maria hadn't expected Verity to praise her product. Back in school, they never got along. Now, 10 years later, they were meeting again. Verity was in town for a job, but Maria secretly still held a grudge. She didn't want Verity getting hired here. Anyway, there were no openings at her company, but Verity had checked the website and came to town for a vacancy. Hours later, Maria checked the site, and there was a research assistant position open. If Verity got that job, what then? Maria started stressing. There was a big reason for it. Back in school, Verity was super smart. She kept to herself, always tinkering with something. She'd draw weird diagrams and talk about building supercomputers. She must have been pretty cool, James said, and Maria got irritated. It was clear she couldn't stand Verity. Back then, a rumor spread about her. Everyone said Verity got caught with Mr. Kendrick in the computer lab. It wasn't true, but Maria and the whole class spread garbage about her. A girl named Natalie went too far, calling Verity Milk Girl and teasing her until it stuck as her nickname. Why would a computer nerd want a job at a food company? That question was eating Maria up inside. Chances are Maria was behind the smear campaign. The next day, Verity aced her interview and got the research assistant job. Soon, everyone in the office liked her. The day after, the company's owner, Mr. Dita, was coming to the office after years. They had to plan his all-day vegan menu. Maria worked with Verity to get it done. Lately, someone kept sneaking almond milk from a girl in the office. She'd make a fuss every day, but the thief was still a mystery. Since Verity joined, people in the office followed her around. But if anyone got more attention than Maria, she'd burn with jealousy. It was wired into her since childhood. During a debate about food preferences, someone mentioned Bernie's chicken. Maria jumped in, insisting it was Barney's chicken. Nobody agreed. Stubborn as ever, she was sure she couldn't be wrong. Her boyfriend worked at Barney's after all. They searched online, and her ego got crushed. She became a laughingstock. How did Barney's spelling suddenly change? It used to have an A in Barney's. She was telling the truth, but nobody believed her, not even her boyfriend. She gave up, but Verity was bugging her more than ever. Everyone in the office was obsessed with her. When James said she could be famous too, Maria flipped out. "Why are you scared of those people?" he asked. The straight answer? Maria loved being the center of attention. She got a kick out of people sucking up to her. James's words hit a nerve, and she snapped. "You're the biggest kiss-up! You love licking boots and making others do it too." James didn't back down, teasing her even more. "That photo? It's the same group that trashed Verity's rep with no mercy." Verity was back for revenge, but how she was flipping things around was the big question. Maybe Natalie knew something. Maria texted her, but got no reply. Next morning, when Mr. Ditta showed up at the office, everyone started brown-nosing. Then Maria screwed up big time. She accidentally served Ditta a beef dish, even though she'd left beef off the menu. Seth pointed out that Verity's list had beef on it. This caused a huge scene. Maria doubled down, so they checked the email. Turns out she'd written beef on the list herself. Still, she refused to apologize. Finally, the boss made her say sorry, which was super humiliating for her. That evening, Maria got a text from Natalie's phone. But it wasn't Natalie, it was her husband. He said they were late replying because they were at Natalie's funeral. Natalie was dead? Her husband explained she'd been acting off for weeks, rambling and paranoid. She thought everyone was lying to her, couldn't tell what was real, and was mentally broken. So she took her own life. Maria was starting to feel the same way. She asked if Natalie had met a friend named Verity Green before she died. But Natalie's husband, stressed about their kids, hung up without answering. The next day, things got wild. Everyone had gone to the meeting, and that's when Verity chugged the whole carton of almond milk. At lunch, that girl started a scene again. All eyes went to Maria. She'd been acting weird lately. She blamed Verity, but when they checked the footage, Maria was wrong, again. Then Maria noticed Verity muttering into her pendant, and in a blink, everything changed. With all this drama, Maria was losing everyone's respect and getting isolated, just like she'd done to Verity years ago. It got so bad she was on the verge of getting fired. Desperate, Maria followed Verity to her house, which looked like a freaking mansion. She broke a window to sneak in and saw servers everywhere. While Verity was in the shower, Maria found the pendant but got caught. Now she had it and thought Verity was powerless without it. Wrong. It was just a remote linked to Verity's quantum computer, activated only by her fingerprints. She had dozens of them and could do whatever she wanted. There were countless timelines, and Verity picked the ones where only Maria saw the truth. With 10 seconds later, Verity gave a command, and Maria's t-shirt changed color. Next moment, Maria was speaking Chinese. Then they were back in the office. This discovery was straight up miraculous. Finally, Maria apologized for her mistake and said Verity could rule the world with this power, get anything she wanted. But Verity had already done that. Now she was just out for revenge for her humiliation, and she'd already kicked it off by killing Natalie. Maria was next. Suddenly, Maria lunged at Verity, knocking the pendant away. Verity grabbed it back and jumped to another timeline, where cops were already there. She told them, "She's trying to kill me." The cops arrested Maria. In a flash, Maria snatched a cop's gun and shot Verity dead. Now with the quantum computer, Maria could do anything. One command, and the cops became her slaves. "I'm the queen of the whole damn world," she shouted, then jumped to a timeline where she was literally royalty.